This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week.
This is the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski.
Featuring defense attorney, Hidden Killers daily contributor, and host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Motta.
Second day was all one motion. And they had filed coming into today, it was a couple of motions to suppress the confessions. So if you know anything about this case, Alan, from this period of March of 2023 through about the end of June of 2023, made what we found out today, like 61, what they consider like direct confessions. Like,
oh, wow.
Most of them general, like I killed the girls.
Let me ask you this before you continue. People who actually have been convicted, we believe have killed people, do they ever make 61 confessions? I mean, it almost seems inordinate to begin with.
Typically, no.
Okay.
And that was kind of like, so their approach is very difficult, though, because these, as we talked about earlier with the safekeeping like motion that they had, the first motion where they're trying to get them out of prison because pretrial detainees are kept in jails. Okay. Like that's what jails exist for. Felons, convicted felons go to prison. All right. So they have this guy and they've had him since the minute he got arrested or shortly thereafter. Have had him in a prison for a year and a half, going on 2 years at this point. And he is out of his mind. It like from March until June, because they have him in solitary 23 hours a day, living like a savage. You know, I mean, they're treating him as if he's a convict, but they have him in this safekeeping thing. And that basically means that they have him on suicide watch for the first 3-4 months he's in. So they like, in order to keep him safe, they're keeping him locked in a cell. They only let him out for rec 3 times a week. He's just, there's no human contact. So like after about, I'd say like, so November, December, January, February, March. So like 5 months into like solitary, this guy starts losing his shit. So when I say losing his shit, like literally eating his own feces.
If you're eating your own shit, I don't think you can really take anything seriously out of your mouth. I mean, I'm not trying to make a weird pun here. I'm really not. I don't think you can. I actually inadvertently just did, but I don't think you can believe anything anyone's going to say if that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's like exactly, and you know, so their theory on this, like typically when you do a motion to suppress, which is typically defense attorneys are filing it. It's not to say the state can't, but typically it's us. So like typically you're saying exactly what the statement is that you want suppressed, and you're giving like the the custodial interrogation details of why you're asking for it to be suppressed. Either that you weren't Mirandized, either they lawyered up, that they were being coerced, that they were, way past the period of time which they can hold you in custody. There's a bunch of reasons why you can try to get something suppressed. Here, they filed the motion trying to suppress all of the statements, not really specifying any of them in the one motion, just saying all of them are garbage because of the environmental factors, meaning that this guy's been held in solitary for, at this point, over a year, and that he wasn't getting proper treatment, and that he was just losing his mind. And so it's a really difficult argument. It's really, really tough because you're not saying, because where's the interrogation? You know what I'm saying? Because like they can't show that the cops were coming into the prison and questioning him. He was kind of spontaneously making these statements to his wife over a recorded call, to his mothers over recorded calls. He was saying it to the nurses, doctors, like the inmates who they call suicide companions, the felons that are sitting outside his door trying to watch him. The guards are all saying that he keeps saying that he killed the girls.
But it wasn't because he just wanted to get the fuck out of that horrible situation. And that's what it's like, a survival instinct. I'll say whatever you want me to say. So you stop torturing me?
Yeah, potentially. So they put on a bunch of witnesses again. They put on the warden. That took forever. It was basically the same thing that I heard back in June of last year with respect to the conditions that he's being housed in. And the warden's like, he's treated like every other prisoner. I'm like, no, the difference is he's not a prisoner. He's not a convict. He's a pretrial detainee. This guy's just awaiting trial. So he's like, oh yeah, we made all kinds of accommodations for him. I'm like, okay, allowing him to, have his family come see him. He's a pretrial detainee. He's not a felon.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be falling under the same rules as the rest of the convicts. Yeah. Because he's not a convict, not at this point, So like that just kind of fell on deaf ears with me. But like they just had to establish the conditions and what's being detained.
Are you ready to listen to this podcast ad-free?
Then hit subscribe to the True Crime Today Premium Plus channel now on Apple Podcasts.
You'll instantly have access to all of our episodes labeled Advance Ad-Free. You'll hear the interviews before everyone else and with no interruptions.
No interruptions.
Subscribe to the True Crime Today Premium Plus channel now on Apple Podcasts.
And start binging now.